Hey guys, it's me Chandra again. Today I want to do kind of the preparation for the new character, which is this time for Nahida or the Lesser Lord Kusanali. So as usual, I will talk about like what material that we need to prepare, how much exactly it is, and then also what's the build, like weapon, artifact, something like that. And as usual, also I will not talk much about the unofficial things. So mostly I will talk about what they state right now, because sometimes in beta there's a chance that they will change, right? So what if when the final product is different, they will say, "Fuck you! You say me, you give me a wrong information." So I don't want something like that. So I mostly refer to the official that already state in the website. So let's get started. So let's see a little bit about the overview about Nahida. So they say Nahida is a dendro character who can create condition for dendro elemental reaction and deal damage even when she is off field. So that's probably means she's kind of like support that can be on field or off field, which is that pretty kind of like promising. So yeah, that's what I think from what first I read it. So let's start first with the material that we need to farm for Nahida. So first one for the level, we need the dendro stone one. I forgot the name. This one, I forgot the flower. This one hard to pronounce, but this one you can get from the rock, the hill, something like same like violet grass. This is the fungi spore, so don't forget to farm that. And here the dendro hypostasis. Take notes, you can only farm when 3.2 update is come. So don't forget to prepare some fragile resin, at least like 5 to 10 of fragile resin for you to farm off the Nahida, so you can make it until level 90 if you're kind of willing to. And then this is for talent material. Let's hear the book that she needs. This is the fungi again. This one for the weekly most probably is Kara. So there's no way we can level up all the material until like level 10 for the first week though, because there's no way. Let's talk in brief about Nahida Talents. So first one is normal charge attack. Basically, a normal charge attack, nothing really special. It's just like her animation is very unique because she's Archon, right? And now we will talk about the elemental skill, which is the real deal in here. It calls all seems to know. Very good name. I like it. Basically, in here, Nahida will mark the enemy and it will dealing a dendro damage, and it can mark up to 8 enemies, and it has two mode, both tap and hold. So tap and hold same, it can mark up to 8 opponents also. So what actually the difference though? The difference is just like the tap is just like quick, it's just like dealing damage to the nearby Nahida, but for the aim mode or the hold mode, you can kind of choose which one enemy that you want to target though, so it's more precise. So this one is fast, this one is precise. So in take note, in A mode, it lasts up to 5 seconds, so you have 5 seconds to think yourself. And Nahida will get interruption in here, so you don't have to worry to get interrupted though. So in here later, it will trigger the Seat of Skanda. So in Skanda, I believe. So I will explain here about the Seat of Skanda. So you already see in here, there's a 3 flower that connect each other. Then later, if you kind of trigger elemental reaction or the dendro core seed is explode, it will later will trigger another effect that called 3 karma purification. So basically this 3 karma purification will deal another dendro damage to the enemy that marked by Seat of Skanda. And this 3 karma purification scaling is based on Nahida attack and elemental mastery. So we already have 2 keywords that very important for Nahida build is attack and elemental mastery. So you can keep trigger this 3 karma purification until duration of course is finished, which is I say it's very good. This is the main gimmick of Nahida itself though. But of course, I don't know how much that you can trigger this 3 karma purification. I believe it has cooldown also. You cannot do every single second like that, infinite second. It has maybe kinda cooldown, something like that. For elemental burst, it calls illusory heart. Basically, Nahida will summon the building. It calls Shrine of Maya, which is very beautiful. I have to appreciate. So what this building do is that it basically will buff Nahida elemental skill based on what you have in your team though. So let's say you have Nahida and then you pair with Pyro, it will buff Nahida elemental skill damage too. It will make the elemental skill damage become higher. See, the 3 karma purification all seems to know increase, the damage will increase. But if you pair Nahida with Electro, it will reduce the interval between 3 karma purification. So that means you can trigger the 3 karma purification more often. So you can trigger this one more often though. So that also good for the Hydro. So if you pair Nahida with Pyro, it can make the burst is last longer though. So which is also another good longer burst, right? So in here they state also if you pair at least 2-member party, it will buff further. So let's say you have Nahida with 2 pyro. That means this 3 karma purification will increase much more than what is supposed to be increased though. So it's buff over buff. So that also applies with another condition with double electro, with double hydro, something like that. Actually, there's passive that haven't revealed, but it's from beta, so I will only talk very in brief because we don't have the final number yet. So basically, while in the burst, Nahida will buff also the elemental mastery through the whole party, including Nahida itself though. So that's why elemental mastery is important. So let's have a fun discussion in here. Is it Nahida have a bad talents or kit though, or gameplay, something like that? Or is she is the weakest Archon among all the Archon itself though? Because we know Zhongli, Raiden, and Fenty can pretty much versatile, can pretty much pull in every team, very flexible, something like that. While Nahida, some people say like even the burst itself only beneficial to the dendro team itself and didn't do any dendro application itself, so then the dendro application will not enough or something like blah 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 blah. I want to say in my opinion it's not really that bad though. I think Nahida's in fact will become better than Dendro Traveler, and I think it's already good enough because right now even Dendro Traveler I think it lack of something though, and we need something that better than Dendro Traveler though. So in here the potentially Nahida to become the best support for the Dendro itself, I think it's good enough as a 5-star though, and I believe she will do a very good job in the Dendro team itself. Although I agree in some capacity people say that, oh yeah, but it's not versatile, it's not flexible, it's only Dendro teams like that. I will say again, Dendro is type of element that's very niche. I would say it's very kind of limited, it's very not flexible, it kind of forces you to play in certain way. I already tell you since Tinari, Sino, Nilo, something like that, it forces you to play in specific way though. It's kind of lock you in certain way, so that makes not flexible at all though. And so that's not Nahida fault, but that's how Dendro works though. So for me, if Nahida just become very good or very best in Dendro, I feel it's already good enough. And I have to agree that she has the Archon level of kit, same like Zhongli, Fenty, Raiden, something like that. It's just like niche and less versatile. So in short, I would say she has Archon level kit, but in her niche, which is Dendro. And here my defend why she is an Archon level of kit though, because first also the elemental skill in here is marking up the enemy. Even they move or something like that, it still mark the Dendro application. Compared to Dendro Traveler right now, the best one is just like Dendro Traveler is actually depends on the field of the burst itself, right? For the constant reaction, because the elemental skill of the Dendro application is very fast. It's not really even that kind of significant. So the elemental burst, but elemental burst is only on field. If the enemy move, you're fucked up. And even in here, the burst is very good to buff your Dendro itself, though. Especially, I really like the electro effect, which is will be reduce the interval, so you can trigger the aggravate that like 3 karma purification. That means you can trigger more aggravate, right? Especially if I kind of main Sino or kind of Dendro team, something like that. Will be beneficial you a lot though. Although I agree, some people say yes, this is not the best. Like Sino still cannot like maintain the maximum level on field because you know only 8 markup of enemy. Sometimes even Nilo didn't get full because blah blah blah, something like that. But still, this is already major upgrade for me, and I feel that's why I say this is Dendro kit level though for the niche of the Dendroid. Let's talk about the 5-star weapon. So for the 5-star weapon, the very best, of course, the signature one. I believe the name is Low Stream. I don't know what is the effect, but I believe it will be based on elemental mastery because that's pretty obvious, right? From what the kit. And another one that you can try is Kagura Verity. I think Kagura Verity will work very good with Nahida itself though. So let's talk about the 4-star weapon for Nahida. Actually, Nahida have a lot variation of the 4-star weapon. It's just like none of them that can work all purpose though. I think only one that can work for all purpose, which is the newest Catalyst, and that's not even free to play, I have to say, because you can only get from weapon banner, and it's kind of unit gacha, right? So it calls Wandering Even Star. It's actually good. You can buff your attack based on your elemental mastery though for your whole team though. So that's actually good for all purpose. It's just like not really free to play. Other than that, we can try the sacrificial fragments. The subset is actually quite good, but the one that I worry is defect though. If Nahida elemental skill turns out to be very kinda short, that means the effect is pretty much useless. So you can only utilize this high elemental mastery. Another that you can try is with it. The critical damage is good for Nahida personal damage, and this also good because you can get RNG from the attack buff, from the elemental mastery buff, something like that though. But the bad thing is can only occur on 30 seconds. So that means like on certain period your Nahida damage will be going very down, but on certain period you will be going very up though. If you like to do like kinda showcase or kinda screenshot damage, something like that, I think this is will be good. But it's just like less, it will be less consistent or not so much consistent though in terms of damage though. But this is still a solid weapon though, especially at R5. And in here Mappa actually okay also because it's very free to play. You can carve, and the melt of mastery actually not really so high, but still okay. But the effect at least you can utilize, right? If you trigger elemental reaction, it will get another additional damage of your elemental damage though. You can get 2 stack. And take notes, it can only works if your Nahida on field. If your Nahida off field, it cannot trigger. So that's another cons though. So although it's good, the effect you can trigger, but can only trigger in on field. Other than that, there's one more 3-star weapon. I really recommend 3-star, but I think this can work. In here, the subset actually pretty high for 3-star weapon, close to the sacrificial fragment, and the effect is good. It will increase the damage if you deal enemy that effect with Hydro and Electro. It's just like if you didn't deal enemy with Hydro and Electro, Nahida damage pretty much down. So that's another cons though. So those 4-star that you can try when Nahida release. So for the artifact set, basically Nahida have 2 different artifact sets that can work very good for her. Just like depends what you need or what you want for your Nahida. So first one that I will talk is Debut Memories. Now, Debut Memories will get a lot of advantage if first is that Nahida is the only dendro character in your team. Let's say if you didn't pair with Lumin in that team, that means you can put Debut Memories to your Nahida though, because it can work very good because it can decrease your dendro resistance by 30%, which is still very good, right? And the second is that if you like your Nahida personal damage to become high, then yes, equip this Debut Memories because it can buff your personal damage of Nahida become higher though. So it's mostly for on-field Nahida. And the third, if you kinda want to utilize more into the quicken reaction, like spread or aggravate, then yes, you can equip this Debut Memories. And second set that become very good also, which is Gilded Dreams. Gilded Dreams can give you a lot of advantage, especially if you want to utilize Nahida as a full support Nahida, means like you want your Nahida to full support your main DPS, something like that, then go for Gilded Dreams. And second, if you feel like you lack of elemental mastery, then you need more elemental mastery, then go for Gilded Dreams because you can get buff from these sets though, which is very good. And the third one, if you kind of want to like in your team you are mostly utilize that elemental mastery based reaction like kinda Bloom, Hyper Bloom or Bargain, and go for Gilded Dreams because it can buff your elemental mastery, right? So it can become very good for your entire team, including Nahida itself though, to trigger higher damage of reaction itself. So yeah, that's actually depends on what you need, on what you propose of your team for your Nahida. Both Debut and the Gilded Dream can work very good for your Nahida. And take notes, your subset can also contribute a lot to your entire damage of your Nahida itself or your support to your Nahida. So maybe if you're kind of confused, you may consider to go with any artifact sets that have superior substat. If you don't have a solid 4 piece, let's say it's just very bad substat for another piece, then you may go for 2 and 2, like 2 piece of Gilded Dreams and 2 piece of Hunter's Troop is actually okay. Or you can just mix between like 2 Gilded Dreams and 2 Debut Memories, that's still okay also. Variation for the Nahida itself that you may try when she come out. And also if you still confused like between critical rate, damage or elemental mastery, I'll try to help in here with the simple answer though. So let's get started with the sense. For sense, I think you should just go with the elemental mastery compared to the attack. I know attack still scale with Nahida itself, but elemental mastery is more versatile. It can help generally in any dendro team because it can help with your team reaction though. So just go with the elemental mastery for the sense. For the goblet, you have 2 options: elemental mastery or the dendro damage bonus though. So but I would say the safest bet is elemental mastery because again it can support your whole team, right? But if you like for your personal damage, you want to make your Nahida dendro damage become higher, then just go for the dendro damage bonus though. But yeah, both of them still okay too. In here, some of you kind of confused, crit rate, crit damage, or elemental mastery, I will just say again, it depends. If you feel kind of you want your Nahida personal damage or the dendro damage that dealt by Nahida to become higher, then just go crit rate or crit damage. But if you just want to buff your team to make your reaction to become higher, to something like that, then just go for elemental mastery though. And again, I want to say the safest bet is just go for the elemental mastery, full elemental mastery first though. Then later, maybe if you feel like you have too high elemental mastery, then you can just like adjust some of them in the crit rate, or just you can put in dendro damage, something like that. For the subset, there is usually 3 priority in Nahida kit, which is first one is elemental mastery. But if you already equip elemental mastery in the main stat, then that means the second priority, which is crit damage and crit rate, and after that the third one is attack percentage. So let's talk about the team comp. But for me, Nahida actually has a lot of team comp range, because she is like support and application, something like that. So it's more flexible rather than like Nilo or Sino team, something like that. So yeah, there's just like couple of them that you may try. Of course, there's still a lot that I haven't like provided here, but this is just example. So first one is the Sino, because I'm Sino main beside Jai. So the first one is Sino, the Nahida. I will just change with Traveler in here, Kazo and Kokishinobu. In here, I think it will do very good, because I think even with Dendro Traveler, is it already okay? It's just like sometimes when enemy move, it's just annoying. I will be with Nahida, change with the Dendro Traveler, it will be much better. So I want to try that. And this one is the second. This is just like utilize all the Nahida bursts in here. This is basically Nahida. Yaimiko can always change, always with facial though. So if you don't have Yai, just put with facial, or maybe your facial build is better. Xiangling and Kokomin. In here, we just trigger everything about the bloom itself though. You can trigger like Hyper Bloom, Bargain Bloom, whatever from Nahida. So it's kind of massive frenzy of bloom though. So you may try of that, and I think this will be good though, because there is Xiangling is always strong. The next one is actually Nilo team, but I don't have Nilo team. You can try the classic Nilo team. I recommend that instead the Kolei one, you change with Nahida itself. I believe it will be kind of upgrade, so you can try that. And the last team, this is actually mostly for fun, but this is might be not synergy as well, but I think this is worth to try for fun only. So the first one is Nahida. Yalan can be changed always with Shincho, and then Kazuha can be changed with Sucrose and Bennett in here though. So basically how it works that you will trigger with Bennett first with the burst, and then you will do the crowd control. The Kazuha will become the crowd control in here, and also after that you will do Yalan Q, and here Nahida will be the last one that will kind of main DPS string. So with the normal tech, something like that. So it's kind of trigger Broom, Bargain, something like that. It's fun, but maybe not work very best. So yeah, pretty much it's it. That's my fun discussion and preparation about Nahida. I hope the best of luck of you for your pull of your Nahida. I believe most of you want to pull for the Archon, right? I believe you have double 5 star, or the weapon double weapon 5 star. So all the best. If you like the video, feel free to hit subscribe button and like, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.